Welcome to another video, guys. Well, here it is. Patch notes are out, and they're looking very spicy. Tons of changes, tons of nerfs and buffs, both to standard and wild, and even some for battlegrounds. So there is something for everybody. The meta is definitely gonna be shaking up a lot, and I really hope for the better, and I do have a feeling it's gonna be for the better. So now, let's check out all of the changes that are gonna be coming literally 1 hour after this video goes live. Hope you enjoyed the video, and if you do, a like and subscribe would be awesome. And don't forget you can check out my new Raid Shadow Legends channel. Now, let's get into it.
You are not prepared!
Okay, so here it is, the grand piece of resistance. Frickin' King Plush is getting clapped, guys. But more on that in a second. Now let's read what the dev comments is. Patch 32.24, launch later today, brings a few bug fixes and balance changes to standard, wild, and battlegrounds. Hearthstone updates. Dev comment, in the first balance change, after the Embers of the World Tree mini set. Am I the only one who didn't know this is the name of the new mini set, by the way? It's just frickin' Dreams, Emerald Dreams mini set, innit? We're addressing power and play experience as outliers, both in the mini set and in the cards before it. These changes are primarily aimed at reducing the speed and prevalence of single turn blowouts. We're also buffing some of the deck archetypes that we want you to re-explore. Okay. On the wild side, we've also made some bans and card changes. Our philosophy with wild is still that we will step in less often, only to address particularly egregious play experiences and balance outliers. But we'll make impactful changes when we do. Standard cards that are banned in wild are expected to be unbanned and adjusted when they rotate out of standard. Okay? Starting off with Flickering Lightbot, it used to be a free mana and now it goes all the way up to 5. This does help the card feel a little bit less OP, like when I was playing Shauja Pali. Turn 2 0/0 mana Flickering Lightbots, very easy to do, like kinda broken is what it is, like you just play the card that summons you a 1-drop, you buff it a couple of times with the small shit, and there you go, couple of 0 flickers, and enjoy that turn 2 6/6 basically. This doesn't really do anything about the 8/8s that are also still possible to drop as soon as turn 4 or 5, but at least you are gonna have a little bit of breathing room in the first few turns, so you don't have to deal with those pesky free-frees. I do believe this is a healthy change. A standalone change like this is not gonna be the end of all pallies, but there is more to it, so hold tight. The deck is definitely getting slapped a bit. Next up we have Harbinger of the Blighted, and this used to be a 2 mana, now it's gonna be a 3 mana, and even though it's just a 1 mana increase, it's actually huge, because rogues are no longer gonna be able to bounce this with Shadow Step and play it again for 0 and fucking do it again. Now it's actually gonna increase that to 1 mana, and you know how much rogues hate paying for stuff, so this is gonna be a huge nerf to the class for sure. They're still gonna be able to prep a Web of Deception, but it's still gonna be a 1 extra mana cost combo, so it is definitely a lot bigger than some people might think. Another interesting change here would be the Tending Dragonkin for Hunter, and it used to be a 3 mana, and now it goes all the way up to 5, but it also gets a couple of stats, both on the attack and on the defense, so they don't feel too screwed. Obviously nobody was playing this card for the stats, so it's kinda whatever on that front, but bumping this up to 5 mana definitely is gonna make it a lot harder for Imbue Hunters to be doing shenanigans like that and actually dropping some big mana at the same time. A lot of the time when you played this guy, it used to be a turn 7 where you actually drop a sing-along buddy, your hero power, and then you play the Tending Dragonkin, but that combo is not gonna be nearly as possible anymore, and you're about to see it's even gonna get harder after you see the next changes. And now the moment we've all been waiting for, King Plush himself. Old, charge, battlecry, return all minions with less attack than this to their owner's decks. New battlecry, if your opponent has 15 or less HP, return all other minions to their owner's decks and gain charge. Kinda insane, guys, kinda insane. King Plush is no longer gonna be the card you basically know is gonna win you the game. You actually need to set it up a little bit more than just discount it and make it big and double it up. So this is a huge change, and I don't know, I think a lot of hunters are just not gonna want to play with this thing anymore. Okay, my green screen is kind of fucking it up, but you know who it is. It's your favorite toy, King Plushy Boy. But yeah, I do believe Imbue Hunter surely needs to start exploring some new options, and maybe that new beast that got released from the mini set is finally gonna have time to shine. Next up we have Cliff Dive, and obviously from 6 to 7 mana. This is not a small nerf by any means, but it's definitely not huge either. I think Demon Hunter is gonna gonna go back to its roots with the Quillbores, so they are gonna become a lot slower, and the main counter to that deck was indeed King Plushes. So with that out of the way, I think Cliff Dive is just gonna become a little bit slower, a little bit more Quillbory, and they're just gonna be annoying as hell again. And I'm happy to see they're actually taking precautions before the problem arises, but I still believe it's actually gonna be a pretty top tier deck. We also have Symbiosis for Druids. It used to discount by 1 the card you discover. Now it gets basically reverted like I told you. It used to be like this when it first came out, and now it's coming back to its roots. The -1 cost is gone, so they're still just gonna be discovering a choose 1 card without discounting it, which is kinda huge, because being able to discover an extra 1 mana card that goes down to 0, that way you get to summon a couple of 1/1s with the Death Knight bullshit, and that was definitely a very, very strong turn 1 that allowed you to do some very big imbue hero powers super quick. We also have Kris Campaign, classic from 3 to 4 nerf angle. Like I said, I'm a simple man, and I also see Hearthstone have also not been overcomplicating the nerfs on this one either. Yeah, it's still gonna be pretty good. You're still gonna want to use this on your Ancient of Yore. It's just gonna be a little bit more clunky for you, and you're not gonna be able to do too much else in that turn, because it's gonna be 25% more expensive for you. Inflation is a bitch. And last but not least, Sing Along Buddy goes from a 2 mana 1/4 to a 3 mana 2/4, and that is indeed gonna make the card a lot more clunkier for most classes. Honestly, if they wanted to give this guy a chance, they would have given him extra health instead of attack, so a 3 mana 1/5 would have been a lot more stickier for the card, and you would have actually felt good tempoing it out, but arguably that also could have been considered almost as a buff, so there's that too. Okay, I spoke too soon, it's far from the last. I'm kinda baited here, because Sing Along was indeed the last card on the teaser image, but no, we actually have a few more cards to go through, and the first one is Nerfs, Herald of the Flights. I was expecting this guy to go up to a 8 mana, but Hearthstone decided they need to take drastic measures, and I wonder if this is actually foreshadowing for the next expansion. I wonder if this actually means we're gonna be getting some broken dragons in the next expansion, because right now, let's face it, Zarimi Priest has been eating dick for quite a while, and by quite a while, I mean literally after the mini set came out, but to be fair, after all of those other broken classes get nerfed, I'm pretty sure Zarimi would have gone back if everything remained the same, but I think still bumping this guy to 8 mana would have made the combo literally 1 turn later, and a lot of the times you did have to do a lot of photo finishes with Zarimi Priest, so if that was the only issue here, I think bumping this guy to 8 mana would have done the trick. So this leads me to believe that there's maybe some OP dragons in our future, so mark my words guys, next expansion is probably gonna have some pretty broken stuff for dragons, and Naralax is taking the bullet for that. We also have Shaladrusil, and I was literally yesterday years old when I learned this is Shaladrusil. I always called it Shaladrusil, and I even purely wrote it like that in my YouTube thumbnails and YouTube titles. You can double check me on that one. I can guarantee I have. I haven't checked, but I'm sure I have. And yeah, Shaladrusil goes from 7 to 8 mana, and this is a huge nerf. This is a huge nerf because now no longer you're gonna get to corrupt this card thanks to Ursol for Pally. You're no longer gonna corrupt it with Malorn and stuff like that. You're still gonna be able to corrupt it with things like Firak, but not that many other cards are gonna be great. Demon Hunter is not gonna be able to corrupt this with Eladari. All that kind of stuff is actually kind of broken. So this indeed is one of the best cards in the game right now, hands down. Like, it's so good giving you all of those broken dream cards, both in the corrupted and uncorrupted form. So no shock here for me that they actually slapped this one. I was considering if they maybe could touch the dream cards, but how can you even touch the dream cards? Like, they have to be kind of copies of each other, so you couldn't really be touching too much on the mana or the effects, so a little bit stats here and there, that wouldn't have done much. So yeah, 8 mana for this thing is gonna be pretty huge, but the thing is, a lot of classes are still gonna keep playing this card just because even the uncorrupted version is so good. So I would not be surprised if Ursol Pally still slaps with this thing. Yeah, you're not gonna corrupt it with Ursol, but you're still getting all of those broken cards for 3 turns in a row, and that is more than worth. That's about it for standard. Definitely is gonna be shaking up things a lot. Imbue Hunter definitely needs to start exploring new paths. Imbue Druid, I do believe, is gonna remain pretty much unchanged in terms of what cards you're gonna be using. Yeah, they are gonna lose a little bit of win rate here and there, but everything else also got nerfed basically, except for Death Knight. Anybody notice that? Death Knight left this unscathed. So I do believe something like Menagerie Death Knight, maybe even Handbuff Death Knight, are gonna be back on the menu with a vengeance. Leech Death Knight was actually kind of good, and with all of the broken stuff getting toned down, it's gonna be even better probably. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a good time to be a Death Knight tonight, guys. If I was a betting man, I'd say Death Knight tonight is gonna be slaying. Anything else? Demon Hunter, I do believe, is gonna remain pretty good like that. But yeah, why are we talking about this before I actually gone through the buffs? Why is Hearthstone showing me the nerfed wild cards first? Let's go through all the buffs and see what that do, and then have a final verdict what we think the meta is gonna be. And starting off with the Blessing of the Moon for Priest, imbue hero power, we are gonna be having choose a playable priest minion or spell and add it to your hand. It costs one less, but it's temporary. So this is the change. It's basically a playable priest minion or spell. So you are gonna be discovering something like Zephrys, like something like the perfect card. Well, not really. It's not gonna give a shit what the board state is or your health or anything like that, but it is indeed gonna be giving you playable options for you, which is pretty good. Like if you spend 2 mana and you see 3 options that you can't even play and it's freaking temporary, well, what was the point of spending a 2 mana in the first place? So I kind of like this change. It also is kind of idiot proof for if you didn't have too much imbue stuff. Like if this is -10, everything's gonna be a playable card, but basically this ensures that you're gonna have usable stuff out of this card. Even as soon as turn 2, it's gonna give you a 0 mana option. Don't quote me on that one. I literally don't have any idea what 0 cards Priest has access to right now, but still, you get the philosophy. You're gonna be able to actually exactly find out some of the cheaper cards depending on when you use your early hero power. I don't believe this is gonna change too much for Priest in Standard though. Like the deck is just god-awful right now, literally 30-ish% win rate across the boards, but I also would not put it beyond people like the pro Priest players, like Zetalot and such, to really make something broken for them at least. Probably gonna be a very skill-intensive deck, but it's probably not gonna do well for the masses. Moving down to the Pally, Blessing of the Dragon, the Paladin imbue hero power is going down to 1 mana. Honestly, I was expecting something totally different. I thought it's gonna be 2 mana, shuffle 2 Emerald Portals and draw a card, which honestly would have been absolutely broken. But if the wording was shuffle a card, but if the wording was shuffle 2 Emerald Portals and draw a card instead of 1 card, hence it would not get buffed by imbue, I think that also would have been a pretty cool approach, but making it to 1 mana is honestly also amazing. This should actually help imbue Pally pick up a little. I've been seeing them left and right trying hard to actually get back into the meta, and some do actually have success. Like they're not far from 50%. So with this change and all of the other nerfs, maybe it's finally time to see a tier 2-ish imbue Pally approach us. So that should be a pretty fun archetype. Like I've tried that archetype on Fury Crafting back in the day, and indeed it was quite cool. Yeah, I am expecting to be seeing a little bit more of this class for sure. Of this archetype more like it. The class we have seen way more than we should, honestly. Moving down to Shadow Flame of Suffusion, and deal 2 damage for 2 mana, discover a warrior minion with a dark gift. Pretty cool. I'm not sure what exactly we're gonna see out of warrior thanks to this thing, but maybe some of that dragon warrior is about to be a little bit more dominant now. Who knows? I wouldn't say this is a game changer for the class or anything like that. It used to be 3 mana deal 3, now it's a 2 mana deal 2. A little bit more flexible, and we all know we're playing it basically for the discover a dark gift minion thing, so there's that. And it's also a warrior minion, so you are gonna have a limited pool of things, so you could be discovering some OP stuff that are gonna make things a little bit better for you. We also have Living Flame, absolutely inconsequential buff here. 2 mana 2/2 goes up to a 2 mana 3/2. I mean, thanks. Yeah, Raptor is a pretty OP card indeed. Literally don't know why this had to be done really, but I guess a lot of cards discover 2 drops, so at least that helps it a little. The Death Rattle draw fire spell definitely is cool, but right now I don't remember an actual fire spell I would be begging my deck to top deck it, so there's that as well. I don't know, do let me know in the comments if you guys think this actually mattered. Honestly, I feel this is a waste of pixels here. We also have Dark Rider from a 1 mana 1/1 becomes a 1 mana 2/1, and okay, sure. I guess it's gonna help Warrior being a little bit more tradey in the first few turns. Who knows, maybe it's even gonna be a little bit more aggro-y, but nah, not really. I don't believe that's gonna happen. It is a demon, could be interesting on that front, but I really don't think this was also a very consequential buff either. And we also have Spirit of the Calderay, another buff to Imbue Priest. Used to be a 2 mana 1/3 with all of the cool keywords, Taunt, Lifesteal, and if you used your hero power it became a +2/+2, and now it's gonna become a +3/+3. So this basically becomes a 4 mana 4/6 Taunt and Lifesteal. Pretty strong, let's face it. It's definitely one of the strongest minions for Priest for that mana total, so definitely nothing to scoff at right there. Will it help the Priest class that much? Who knows, time will tell. My money would still be around 50-ish% win rate. And last but not least, or is it, Overgrown Horror is gonna be from a 5 mana 4/6, it goes down to a 4 mana mana 3/5. I was expecting it to go to a 4 mana 4/5 like a Chillwind Yeti, but then again it also has Taunt as well as a pretty cool effect, so I think this is fair, even though it's a class card and they are kind of trying to push Wallow Warlock a little bit further, but still. So yeah, that's gonna be it for all the buffs. We also talked about all the nerfs, and I also talked about a little about what I think this is gonna do to the meta. From the buffs, yeah, Imbue Priest is gonna be a little bit better, I guess, and so would Imbue Warrior, and so would Dragon Warrior perhaps, but nothing too crazy, I'd say. Wallow Warlock right now is sitting pretty dog watery, like under 40% if I remember correctly, so I'm not sure if this change alone is gonna do all that much, especially comboed off with the nerf to the Curse campaign. So it's anyone's guess if any of these decks are actually gonna make a dent into the meta after all of the other good stuff got nerfed. But yeah, like I said, my money would be on Death Knight really going crazy right now. Valley should remain pretty competitive. Druid should remain pretty strong. Demon Hunter should remain pretty strong. For Rogue, I'm not sure. There's this new Cyclo Rogue out there, but it did definitely lean on the Harbinger as well, so there's that too. Rogues also could be going for Firax stuff. Shao got nerfed there. Definitely is going to be a little bit harder to pull it off, that's for sure. Like, it's not an easy class to pull off as is, let alone after the nerfs, so I think for the masses Rogue would be a little bit harder than usual. Protostroke should still probably be pretty decent though, so there's that too. And for the classes we haven't mentioned, for Mage, not much changed really, aside from the meta becoming a little bit more bearable for it. Right now it's around under 50% really, so it should go up to 53, 54 if I had to put money on it. With Shaman, I don't believe Shaman is coming back, guys. Like, I'm kind of surprised they didn't touch anything about Shaman here, so there's that. And everything else I think we did touch upon, so those would be my verdicts. Definitely don't forget to check me out live on stream. As soon as this video goes live, we will be going live as well 1 hour later when the patch goes live. And also don't forget, you want to be disenchanting every single card you're not currently using from the nerfed cards. If you're not using a card, you have 2 weeks to get full dust refund for all of those nerfed cards, and that way you get to actually craft something you want to be playing right now, instead of holding on to something that might remain good at a time later. So if you're not playing the card right now, disenchant it, and if you decide you want to craft it back, just craft it for the same amount of dust you got back in these 2 weeks, and that is gonna help you big time, so you can craft something you actually want to be playing after the nerfs happened. Let's just quickly glance over what the wild stuff is as well, for the sake of this video being complete. And yeah, Order in the Court indeed got back to 4 mana, so Paladins are not going to be able to combo off as easily for their bullshit OTK with the Hammer or whatever the fuck that card was called. Scab's Cutter Butter is only going to be discounting by 2 now, so it's not going to be as impactful when they start bouncing it around. Void Touch Attendant finally goes up to a 2 mana, still remains a 1/3, and Shadow Priest has been abusing the shit out of this card for way too long, so good riddance honestly. And last but not least, we also have Serenade Chain Gang, which got reverted once more to its nerfed form, which is Summon a Serenade Chain Gang. So yeah, this card definitely was way too strong in things like Shudderwalk, Shaman, so without this tag you're no longer going to be bouncing a shit ton of Shudderwalks. For the banned cards, we have Ever-Burning Phoenix and Wild. I did not know what exactly happens with this card over there, but apparently it is too good for Wild, and that is no longer going to be the case for now. And also we have Growth Shaper, which apparently was allowing some broken things, I'm assuming with things like Gloop or something stupid like that, which I guess good riddance. I did see the deck had pretty dog water win rate, but maybe some pros were doing some broken things with it, so there's that. So that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Hope this helps you figure out what you want to be playing after the patch goes live today. If you found the video helpful, drop a like and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to get hammered for some Hearthstone coaching. Thanks for watching. I'm Kris05, and I'll see you in my next video or stream.